Okay, so we're going to try that and just try to combine all this. So I'll create a new one. I'll just create a new sheet, and then I'll go to data, and I'll go to get data, and I'll go to from file, then from workbook. So I'll take this. And bring this all into Power BI, I'll just come here and right click on this, and I'll click transform data. So that has brought up the Power Query editor, and what we have here is the connection to each of those sheets. This is the sheet name over here, and then this is the table, right? If you just click within the cell here, not on the name here, just within the cell, you should be able to see a breakdown of the contents in that worksheet. And you can see item labels, you can see the dates, right, all the way down to all these extra calculations here. So 8 here is August, I believe, right? And then an empty column, and then month on month, and then year on year. Right, and you can see every other thing here. So we need to take out one table actually, which is the national table. We need to take it out. So we're automating this process now. So yes, so we take out national because it's an aggregation of all the individual states, which we can calculate subsequently. And also anything that is not a worksheet, for instance, this underscore Excel NM filter database. So we take that out. Then we can take out that first to say remove anything that is not equal to sheet. It has to be a sheet, right? And then secondly, right, remove national from this pipeline. Take that out, and everything you're left with are the individual states, 36 plus 1 federal capital territory here, which is denoted by Abuja. Okay, then we will simply expand this table. Expand the table. A little more if you want to just see everything. 49 columns, that's cool. We're selecting all columns. We're removing use original column and as prefix. Then click OK. And that simply expands and appends all the individual sheets together. And we can, of course, we can identify each sheet by the name here, which is great, which works for us. So, as expected, item label headers are here, and the dates are also they're also available. But then these headers are available for each state. So if you go all the way down again, and you get to Abuja, you see the same headers. And then to Anambra, you see the same headers. So something to keep in mind. Then if you go all the way to the end, check the end. We have extra things, an empty column, column 49. Let's load everything. Is there any extra thing there? There's no. column 48, which is throwing up errors for some reason, which we actually don't need any of all these. We don't need them. How does it have values in them? Okay, of course it does. And column 46, which is null, empty, right? That's fine. And of course, we can take out column 45 now, because column 45 here should signify the last date, which is August 2020, and every other thing should be values. So I will take out some. If we're thinking about how this will be updated at a future date, say for instance, if they update the one for next year, for next month, right here, which will be September, if that's updated here, and how will this pipeline automatically be included? How will this new date or the next couple of dates be automatically included within the pipeline? So first thing to do, from what I can see here, right, which I hope it doesn't break actually, is to make the first row as headers, which is fine. We're expecting that Abia will always be the first month within that worksheet, which is fine. And all these dates appear here, which is all right, all the way down to here, which is what we need. We don't need any other thing here. But for this to really work, like later on, there will be other column 47. There will be something in column 47 when this increases. So the next empty column might no longer be 47, it might be 48. So I guess what I'm just trying to say that I will actually delete will be these columns, right? So I'll hold down this column, which has a defined name, MOM. I'll hold down this one as well. I'll hold down Abia, and I'll hold down sheet using control as I click, holding control as I click, hold down false. All right. They have defined names, and I'll right click and I'll say remove columns. So anytime there's new data that comes in, the first thing you should do is just remove these columns. All right, so that means whatever we're left with here will be maybe September, October, November, and we might still have these two empty columns. But if I highlight these two columns and I remove them, it might result on error, because whenever data comes in and it populates column 47, we'll automatically remove those columns, which will lead to errors. So how do we intelligently remove these columns? I guess might leave them there for now, but let's head on to what is actually more important. So we have that there. We can now rename this column as state. All right, column rename as state, and everything in this column, I guess should we leave Abuja as is? We can just modify Abuja as FCT, or transform column, right? Replace values. Just look for Abuja and replace it with Abuja FCT, like so, or FCT FCT, and then Abuja like so. Something like that. But I will do that, so I cancel that. I will do that after I have capitalized the first letter, or each word rather. So let's load everything. Let's see. Cross River, looks all right. Nasarawa, yeah, looks all right. Looks all right. We can close that. Then I will now replace Abuja with FCT Abuja, like so. FCT Abuja, yeah, we leave that as is. Then the state item labels, the last thing we want to do really, or the second to the last thing we want to make this sensible is to say we want to highlight these two columns, state and item labels. Then we want to unpivot, down click, want to unpivot all the columns. So anything aside from the state and item labels, we want to transform them from their horizontal position into a vertical column. That is everything here, all these dates, everything that is not these two columns will be turned into two columns containing attributes and values. So pivot other columns. We do that, which is pretty impressive. And yeah, and here, this should be date. It's the first day of each month, and this should be, since it's food prices, it should be prices or price, something like that. And if we take a look down, we actually don't have any blanks. I was expecting to see nulls, but there's no blanks, right? We can check again. Let's check the column distribution or the column. Let's check the column profile. Count is 1000, error, 0 empty, nothing empty. Price, I think we need to turn it into a decimal. Yeah. And then we can see column distribution. There's nothing here that's empty, 0. So that solves the, I guess, the problem we're having here of the, what happens to these two extra columns. I hope that doesn't break. You can cross-check that when there's additional data. And with data like this, now we can do what? We can create trends. Move this over here. Let's remove the column profile and distribution and turn date from text to date. And we're good to go. So this concludes the aspect of how to turn data, right, that's not available in the format for creating trends analysis into something that can create and extract insights using trends. So yeah, so you can close and load this data into, of course, it can be a new worksheet. You can load it directly into a table here in Excel. And you click OK. Voila. I guess having that worksheet open was affecting this query. So this works for creating trend analysis, and we've easily built 71,000 rows from a workbook containing 37 worksheets. 37 worksheets. The next aspect might be to find out how best to aggregate some of the categories in these item labels. Are there Of course, you'd have to remove some of these headers actually. Yeah, the last thing would be to remove some of these headers over here from your Power Query. Yeah, to remove those headers, that should do everything.